Josh speaking. Hi. Okay. Yep. Okay. I am Josh Rackless, Josh Rachlis. I'm with the Green Party of Canada, and I'm running in Thornhill. Um, well, it's particularly difficult to be running for the Green Party in Thornhill because it's a very Jewish area, and the Green Party is known amongst the Jewish community for having some controversial views about Israel. Um, a couple of years ago, at the annual general meeting, there a couple of 2 out of the 10 resolutions uh, that the Green Party voted for were to boycott Israel and to boycott a Jewish charity because of the Palestinian situation. So that's actually a large thing that comes up when I'm knocking on doors, or even just when I was trying to get signatures so that I could run for the party. A lot of people would immediately say, "Well, what party are you with?" And they're like, "No, I can't vote for you. The party's anti-Semitic." So partly what I'm trying to do is fight that perception. I explain to people that I'm Jewish, and the party doesn't unanimously believe in one thing. Like with any party, there's dissenting views within the party, and I personally support Israel, and I support the Jewish community, and I'm very passionate about Israel, and uh, and that's part of the reason I'm running, so I can get some of that within the party and mix that in with my environmental views, because I don't think we should have to choose between supporting a country we care about and the environment. And one person, when I stopped him on the street to ask for a signature, he was like, "Oh yeah, your party's anti-Semitic. You should get some new blood in there." And I was like, "Well, I am the new blood. That's just what I'm trying to do." And he's like, "I'm sorry, I still can't sign the form." So even when people were refusing to sign for me to just get on the ballot because they didn't believe in it, in what we stood for. But I managed to get my signatures. I had a great debate at B'nai B'rith, and lots of people came up to me after the debate and said it was very refreshing, and it was the people who organized the debate said it was much better than the previous nights because I was so interesting and funny. And again, a lot of people said, I can't vote for you, but I like you as a person and everything. And yeah, there was various things that people came up to me to talk about. People have talked about lots of congestion in the area, and lots of construction on the roads. Affordable housing is on people's minds, and everybody has their own issues. There was one couple that came up and wanted to talk to me about autism a lot. So healthcare is something that comes up a lot. Um, yeah, things like that. So generally the same concerns that a lot of Canadians have, but for Thornhill in particular, because it's a suburban area, and so transit is a big thing. Whether people can get around, whether people are stuck in traffic. It's also a very diverse area, so people need services in various languages and supporting various religions. And in terms of safety, people are concerned about gun violence coming up from downtown in Toronto, and obviously with attacks in synagogues and mosques in recent years, people are concerned about safety for religious organizations and community buildings. So that's a big thing on people's minds as well. Yeah. Okay, well, um, in the 2011 election, like I've always cared about the environment, so I've been looking for ways to support the environment and to get that message across. Even since I was a kid, I was picking up litter and turning off lights in the house, and my parents would get mad at me. And then uh, I realized that I could do eco comedy that would entertain people, but also not get people angry. Because for a lot of stuff I was doing, it was difficult, like picking up litter everywhere, or I was handing out handmade flyers to people who were idling their cars. And then one time, a guy got out of his BMW. He was having a nap with his engine on, and I just dropped a flyer in the window, and he chased me a couple of blocks. Said, "Hey, tree hugger, I'll kill you if you ever touch my car again." So I was like, okay, I need to do something um, that can help the environment and not get me beaten up. So what I did was actually, well, I saw a contest they were having to make an eco comedy video that Laurie David, who produced An Inconvenient Truth, and she's Larry David's ex-wife, she would be judging. And I thought, oh, cool, I could get in front of her and maybe grow my comedy career that way, and also I can do eco comedy, and that went well. And then when Obama was running for the first time, and somebody did an Obama Girls song about him, I thought, well, why doesn't somebody do that for Elizabeth May, the Green Party leader? Because to me, she represented the environment. It was the purest expression of being green and taking care of the earth. Like, the liberals have environmental policies as well that are good, and the NDP, but the Green Party sort of, it's called the Green Party. So I did a love song for her, and she tweeted back, "I love you too," because I tweeted it to her, and then immediately all the newspapers called, and it was played on CBC Radio, and CTV News Channel sent a limo to pick me up to take me to their studio to record an interview with me. And so that and the Green Party actually she got elected that year, and the Green Party sent out a memo afterwards internally saying, we need to do more to get in the media. The only reason we got in the media at all this time was because Elizabeth wasn't in the debates and because of Josh Rackless's love song. So I felt like I really contributed. And then I posted on Facebook during the next election. I was like, hey, maybe that's the next thing I have to do. I have to run to get my message out to even more people. And so I said, how do I run? And somebody from the Green Party said, hey, you could run for us. So partly I was running with them. Mainly because they align with my values. I really care about the environment. That's always what I've been passionate about. And I love Elizabeth, her passion. And but also because they're a smaller party, I guess it's a bit easier to get in. Like if I was going to run in a liberal riding where they had a good chance of winning, there'd be a huge, leadership contest, and a lot of the people that seem to run for the larger parties really have political experience behind them, and I didn't have that. So this was a way of me getting in, but also supporting something I care about. And I've run in various ridings provincially in Toronto, and actually, yeah, what happened was I tried to run in my where I was living before in Spadina, Fort York, in the last election, but I lost by one vote. And actually, the woman who won turned out to be rather anti-Semitic as well, so that was a bit controversial within the party. So I wound up running in Thornhill last time because they needed someone, and I also have a lot of ties there. As a Jew, most of my friends in Toronto are from there, and all my ex-girlfriends are from there, and so I really like the area. And then they needed somebody again, and they asked me to run again there. And so I think that the Thornhill area, for me, in Toronto, sort of aligns the most with my Jewish heritage and then the people I care about and all my friends. And even just walking around, knocking on doors and doing the debates really warmed my heart. Like everybody in the area is really sweet, and just going around the food court at the Promenade Mall, just coming up to people asking for signatures. I just loved how people were sitting there having coffee with their friends and having debates and having club meetings and stuff. And so I really love the area, and that's why I've been running. So they needed me in the area, and it aligns with who I am, and the Green Party aligns with who I am. Um, I mean, I think as we saw in the debates, the big leadership debates, as Elizabeth hammered home, like the climate challenge is an emergency, and we need to deal with that. And if we don't deal with the environment, then nothing else matters really. And I understand that Canada only produces something like 1% of the emissions in the world, but we do produce, I think, the most per capita in the somebody said last night in the civilized world, or not civilized, develop, whatever you call it, the big G20. Um, and so, we do have more to do. And also, as Elizabeth put it, it is the largest economic opportunity in history, like to switch to a green economy. So I think both environmentally and both economically, it makes sense if we do more in terms of, I like the idea of the carbon tax, which just forces businesses to get more efficient, and uh, we also get a credit back, so it's not actually costing people. It actually gives you more control over what taxes you're paying, so you can save on energy, and then the more you save on energy, the more money you save, and you're also getting money back uh, as a refund from the carbon tax. So I would push with that, just do as much as we can to invest in green energy, uh, encourage us to switch over to electric cars instead of gas cars, uh, invest more in solar, invest more in wind, and that would be my main priority. And then also, housing affordability is a big issue for me. I've seen how expensive it is downtown, even just to own a little condo. It's very expensive, and I've got a lot of friends who are dealing with that, trying to find affordable apartments. And so I would definitely invest in building affordable housing and doing as much innovation as we can in that area. One of the big Green Party ideas is to uh, encourage shared housing. Like if seniors have an extra room that they could rent out, this would give somebody an affordable room and also give the seniors company and also allow them to keep their home and stay out of the hospitals or stay out of long-term care facilities. And this would probably help maintain the community of Thornhill, because a lot of people are concerned in Thornhill and around Toronto that all these neighborhoods are being torn down to build condos. So if we can allow people to stay in their homes and afford to live in their homes, we can maintain the character of our community and heritage buildings. And that's a big passion of mine as well, sort of maintaining old brick buildings or old houses, not just having everything become the same glass towers that you often see in the suburbs everywhere. Okay, no worries. Yep. Awesome. And can I just say one last thing? Just because you asked me specifically, like, why did you run for the Green Party and why in Thornhill? And that's the question that I got from a lot of people, even when I was posting in Jewish groups or Thornhill groups on Facebook saying, hey, can people come sign my thing? They're like, well, the Green Party's anti Semitic. I'm like, no, I'm Jewish. I support Israel. Then why would you run for them? And yeah, so it's kind of the same answer I gave to you, but everybody was asking this. So I just want to reiterate that I care about the environment. The party has diverse views, and Elizabeth has said she's not going to force people to vote one way on things. And so yeah, I stand for people and affordable living and healthcare, and those are my main passions. And then I can also support Israel within that context. And I love the area of Thornhill, so that's why I want to contribute. So that's that. No, I don't right now. Actually, I was living downtown Toronto, and I just sold my condo in July, and I was thinking, oh, I'm just gonna be a digital nomad, traveling around for a while. But I've realized that's a lot more difficult than I imagined. Like hotels are expensive, and you can't get any work done if you're staying with friends. So I probably need to get a room somewhere or an apartment again. So maybe I'll make that Thornhill, especially if I win in the riding. I do love the area, but we'll see. We'll see where I wind up. Right now, I'm in Ottawa visiting my parents from Yom Kippur, so I was cheering on Elizabeth outside the debate when she went into the museum yesterday, so that was fun. Yeah, yeah, the Green Party had it say, everybody show up and we'll give you green T-shirts and hats, and yeah, there was a lot of greens there. I was like, wow, I didn't realize there would be so much. So great, you're welcome. Thanks a lot.